He lifted her high in the air, he sniffed and roared and smelled her there.
Catelyn is protected by 30 men under the command of Hallis Mollen, Winterfell's captain of the guard, as Robb's host waits to descend upon Sir Jaime Lannister in the Whispering Wood. Robb had wanted to leave her 50 guards, and Catelyn had only wanted 10, so neither of them left happy. Robb's army rode hard from the Twins to catch Jaime by surprise. Along the way, they were joined by the Mallisters, and some of the forces scattered after Edmure's defeat, but Sir Jaime Lannister still outnumbers them 3-1. However, in order to besiege Riverrun, the Lannisters were forced to separate their 12,000 foot and 2,000 or 3,000 horse into 3 camps separated by rivers, which leaves them vulnerable. In addition, Catelyn's uncle, Sir Brynden, led a screening force of 300 picked men to kill the few outriders that Jaime bothered to post, allowing their advance to remain secret. Before they face the siege, however, Robb and his men have concocted an elaborate trap. Unable to endure the boredom of a siege, Jaime has personally ridden out 3 times to chase riders. To exploit this, Robb sent a few hundred men with Tully banners to lure Jaime and his men into an ambush in the narrow valley of the Whispering Wood. As she waits, Catelyn realises that she is again waiting for a man who has promised to return from war, all she has done all her life. First, she waited for her father when she was young. Then it was for Brandon Stark, who never came back. Then she waited for Ned Stark, who left a fortnight after he married her to fight in Robert's rebellion. At least Ned left her pregnant with Robb, whom she must wait for now. Robb shows no fear as the battle approaches, but Catelyn still fears for the life of her son, remembering him as a babe at her breast. As Robb's squire, Oliver Frey, helps with his shield and helm, Catelyn sees a tall young knight appear where her son had stood. Robb leaves her to let his men see him before the battle, as his father had once recommended, with his direwolf Greywind shadowing him. While she waits, Catelyn hears snow shrikes, which reminds her of Winterfell. Suddenly horns blow and arrows fly as the trap closes. Catelyn can initially see the moonlight on the lances, but soon she can only hear the sounds of the battle in the Whispering Wood. Eventually the sounds fade, and then Robb returns on a different horse with the blood of one of his bodyguards on his arm. They drag Jaime before Catelyn, and the captives declare that he would offer up his sword, but he seems to have mislaid it. Catelyn asks Jaime to return her husband and daughters, but he replies that he seems to have mislaid them as well. Theon Greyjoy calls for Jaime's head, but Robb considers the Kingslayer more valuable alive, and like his father Ned, refuses to condone the murder of prisoners. Robb orders Jaime taken away with a strong guard in part to protect him from Lord Rickard Karstark, who will want vengeance for his sons Torrhen and Eddard, along with Daron Hornwood. Catelyn then learns that when he saw Jaime was lost, he charged Robb's party, hoping to cut down Robb. Robb states that he would be dead, if not for Lord Karstark's sons and the others. Despite these losses, the battle is a resounding victory for Robb. They have taken close to 100 knights and a dozen lords bannermen captive. Catelyn points out that they have only won one battle, not the war. Although they took the leader, most of the Lannister host is still besieging Riverrun, and they still have to deal with Lord Tywin Lannister. Robb agrees that Catelyn is right, and declares that they still have the siege of Riverrun to defeat.
I demand a trial by combat.